Are you thinking about moving here to Gwinnett County in this year, 2026? There's a lot of different opinions about what's going on right now in our market. Some people are saying the housing market's crashing. Some people are saying that housing prices are still rising. So what's actually happening right now? In this video, I'm showing you the real numbers directly from our MLS database that we use daily. And we're gonna break down exactly what it means for you in regards to prices, inventory, buyer demand, and negotiating power across Gwinnett County right now. By the end of this video, you will know if it's a buyer's market, seller's market, or somewhere in between, and what it means for you planning to move here. Throughout this video, I'm going to be putting up the real graphs so that we can look at them together and see why they actually matter. We're going to start with the number that everybody cares about, price. The median sales price right now in Gwinnett County is currently around $422,000. Now, if you look at this chart, you'll notice something pretty interesting. Prices exploded between 2021 and 2022, as most of you will remember. Then rates jumped, and many people expected values to fall dramatically. But instead, if you look at the chart, prices have moved mostly sideways. We've had some up years, some downs, but the market has proven surprisingly resilient. What this should tell us is that the demand in Gwinnett County remains strong. The demand here remains strong due to the population growth, the proximity to Atlanta, schools, job access, and the continued relocation buyers that are continuing to move here. And that's why we see this steady demand line on this chart. The next chart we're going to look at is the homes for sale chart. And this is probably the biggest story right now in the market. If you look just a few years ago, buyers almost had no choices, eliminating competition. Today, there are over 3,500 homes available right now. This is fantastic news if you're planning on moving here right now. There's more choices, less pressure, and that results in fewer bidding wars. But the inventory by itself doesn't tell us the whole story. If we switch over now to look at the month's supply chart, this is my favorite chart because it actually tells us who's really in control. In real estate, there's a general rule of thumb when it comes to this month's supply data. Under 4 months, you're in a seller's market. Above 6 months, you're in a buyer's market. And anywhere from 5 to 6, you're looking at a pretty balanced market. And we're currently sitting around 4.4 months. So what does this tell us right now? This is no longer the extreme seller's market that we saw during COVID. But it's also not a true buyer's market either. This is what I would call a normalizing market, while the seller still has some of the control. Now we're gonna move on and we're gonna look at the days on market chart. Now this is where most of the headlines seem to get it wrong. Even with this increase in inventory that we have seen recently, homes here are still selling fast. Around 18 days right now on market until they sell. Again, right now we're seeing a pretty balanced and normalized market. Good homes that are priced correctly are still selling quickly, but these overpriced homes will sit on the market. The number one thing that will sell your house is pricing. And if you price it correctly, the house right now will move. But if your house has been sitting, you may need to consider a price reduction. Today's market is rewarding accurate pricing from the start. Now we're going to move on and look at what homes are selling for compared to their original listing price. Right now, we're seeing that homes are selling for 97.8% of their original list price, which actually means that buyers finally have a little bit of room to negotiate again. This is no longer the market where people are paying 100 to even over asking price like we saw a couple years ago. To give an example, right now in this market, a house that is originally listed at $500,000 can be expected to sell 2.2% lower, which is roughly $11,000 off that original number. And the potential opportunities come in things like price reductions, closing costs, repair, or rate buydowns. And this is why today's buyers have a significant advantage to those who were trying to buy a couple of years ago. Now we're going to move on to one that I like to look at, and this is the number of showings per listing until the house is closed. This is one metric that most consumers never really get to look at. If we look at 2021, we were getting anywhere from 15 to 18 showings until your house was under contract. Today, we're looking at only around 5 showings to get your house under contract. Again, this points back to the idea that we are coming into a normalized, balanced market not like the crazy COVID markets that we were once seeing. The competition has started to come down, and buyers finally have more options again, which is why we're only getting around 5 showings to get your house under contract. This means that demand isn't gone, it just means that competition has simply normalized. Instead of fighting 20 buyers for one house like we were once seeing, you may only be competing against 1 or 2 other offers. So to summarize all these charts, what does our market look like right now? In Gwinnett County, prices are remaining stable, inventory is up, buyers finally have a little bit more negotiating power while it's still leaning towards a seller's market, and homes are still selling quickly that are priced correctly. And Gwinnett County still remains one of the strongest housing markets in the metro Atlanta area. And so if you're thinking about moving to this Gwinnett County area and you don't know where or what to look at, I would love to help guide you in this decision. You can call, text, or even email me, and I would love to help you make this next move. Remember that you are loved, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.